Hi everyone, this is the second video which I'm going to show you how to use the included off-screen menu editor. First of all, this is what editor looks like, and the second, for running it you will need the web server and the PHP installed. If you don't know how to use it or how to install it, I strongly suggest using a tool like MAMP on Mac or XAMPP for Windows, where you have the server, Apache server, PHP, MySQL server, everything bundled together, so you can easily use your local web server with these prerequisites. You navigate to your local directory where you have your editor, and the thing you will first see is something like this. The editor has different parts. On the left part, this part here, are the controls. On the right side is the iframe, which holds the website which we are going to use for testing. As you can see, it already has a default animation inside, and on the bottom you have your CSS code and your jQuery code, so you can quickly just copy and paste your document and just use it. On the top right corner you have toggle tooltips switch. It's switched on by default, so whenever you go over a different part of the editor, you will see the tooltips that will help you when you start using it to see how to use it and what's everything for. So let's see how are we going to use this. First of all, we have this load preset button that you can use to load different factory presets. These are the presets that come bundled with the component. So for example, page turn left, it says it's loaded. Now we can use it to test it here. As you can see, it works. Whenever you load the factory preset, you cannot overwrite it, so you cannot change it, but you can save it as your own user preset. Let's say page turn left user. I add my own name here and I say save as new, and now it's saved as a new preset. If we open this, we will see on the bottom that it says page turn left user. That's the preset we saved, and whenever we load that preset, we can also use these buttons for update or delete the preset. So the thing to remember is the factory presets you can use as a starting point for your own animations, but you cannot change them. But you can save them as your own preset and then change your own preset the way you want it. These three boxes here are for name of the animation. That's just the name you give it, so you can easily recognize it. This is actually the only thing that's really important, and that's the name of the CSS class that we're going to use, or to be more precise, the suffix of the CSS class. And lastly, there is the duration. So for example, if I say duration 3 seconds and I test it here, it goes slowly back and forth. Okay. So how do we make this animation? Well, let me show you really quickly. I'm just going to reload the whole thing, and there's the default. Now these two buttons also, I didn't explain them. One on the right, it says show or hide all controls. When you toggle it, it will close the controls on the left, and if you open it, it will open all the controls. So I prefer opening one at a time, but you can choose to open them a different way. Also, there's a pixel when I click it on and off, you will see that the measurement in pixels will show up. It's hidden by default, so you're encouraged to use percentage because of the different screen sizes, phones, tablets and things like that. But if you prefer using pixels, you can also do that by just enabling them here and just changing your measurement in pixels. Okay, now let's see how we can make something like this. Well, there's 4 different parts on the left that says menu end or visible position. Then it says website end or hidden position. Then it says menu start position and website start position. This is the start position, which we can see right here. It's the website is facing us and the menu is invisible. But why is this order like this here? Why it starts with menu and visible position? Because we want to start our animation by defining how do we want the menu to look when it's shown. So let's toggle the animation, and there is the menu. And let's open this menu and visible position. Okay, now it has menu width, height, position, left, top, bottom. You have opacity, z-index. Also you have transformations, transform origin, translation, rotation. So for example, if I change rotate Y for 5, or even better for 65, you will see that the menu is automatically updated here. So most of the things you do will you will see right away. And as you can see, we can see the website below our menu. That's his second position, that's his menu in animation in position. So let's clear this, and let's say for example we want to make the classic left slide in. So we want the menu to slide in from the left, come to the middle of the page. Well, we're gonna make it 50% width, 100% height. We're gonna use this button that says center menu position to center it, and then we're gonna move it left by saying position left 0%. Okay, so we made our menu to be 50% of the width and 100% of the height. Position left and top is 0, 0. So it comes to that position, but it starts from somewhere up, right? So we have to change it from where it starts. We're going to open this start menu, start hidden position. It has similar controls. It has a menu size, opacity, z-index, and also have translation and rotation. As we can see, it has translate on y-axis to 100%. That's why it goes up. So if we clear that, it kind of shows up and enlarges a little bit. That's because his size is 0.7, which is 70% of its size. So let's make it 1 or 100%. Now it just shows up. But we want it to come from the left. So what we're going to use is translate on X that says minus 100. Okay, now it comes from the left. Now our menu is coming from the left, but our website is just going away. So we're going to fix that now. First of all, let's see what is website end position. That's this position here. It has similar controls. It has size 0.7, that's why it shrinks. If we say 0.3, you will see it animates even more, and if we say 1, it will actually stay the same. But we want to translate it on X for 50%, So whenever we invoke our menu, the website also goes to the right 50%. So this is how we created the classic off-screen left menu. If we want to make it a little bit more interesting, we can, for example, instead of translating it 50%, that's the width of the menu, we can translate it for 20%. 20%. And now you will see kind of parallax effect, where the menu comes in for 50% and the website moves just just a little bit. The only position I didn't show is the website start position, and that's something that doesn't have any controls except the z-index, because the website is always facing us forward and you don't want to do any kind of silly stuff when you're actually looking at the website. And also I want to show you this icon here that looks like phone. When you click it, you can shrink the website to be width of the phone, so you can test. For example, you see this preset doesn't really work well on phones, so if you want to use it on a phone, we have to make it a little bit different, or we can add the media query that will trigger the different animation for the phone. So for example, let's see, we have menu and position. We're not gonna use 50%, but let's see if we can use 80%. Now that looks more like it. So whenever you slide in, you see it will work great on phone as well. This icon that had phone on it, now it has a laptop on it, so it just toggles the website width, so you can test it for the desktop or for the phone. Now let's make one more let's make one more animation. Let's make one more, a little bit more complicated animation. For example, we want to simulate something like a page turn. How do we do that? Well, as before, let's start with end position. So let this be a end position, right? But the start position for the menu will not be translate on X by 100%, but we will rather rotate it on the Y axis for, I don't know, 100 degrees. Let's see how that looks. Okay, now as you can see, it rotates, but we don't want it to rotate in the middle. We wanted to rotate it from the beginning. Sorry. How do we achieve that? Well, we have to change the so-called transform origin. Transform origin is the point from which the transformation is transformed. So currently it's 50-50%, which means it transforms from the center. But if we say 0% 0 on the X and the 50 on the Y, it should be this point here. But let's say, for example, I'm not satisfied the direction from which it is rotating. So let's go back to menu start position and say -100. Let's make it a little bit longer, for example, 1 second. Okay, now let's turn away our website, so his end position will no longer translate on X for 20, but rather rotate on Y for 120. And remember, we also have to change the transform origin. For example, if we want to turn it on the right side, we will have it like 100% on the X and 50% on the Y. That's the point somewhere in the middle here. So as you can see, the website is turning away and the menu is coming in. Whenever you do a little bit more complicated animations, you will have to check it for different browsers, because different browsers are rendering stuff differently. Most of the time it will work okay, especially if the animations are simpler, but if you engage in something more complicated, you will have to check how it looks on Internet Explorer especially, and Safari and things like that. Let's say now that you're satisfied with this animation and you want to use it into your website. If you remember in our previous video, okay, so we had this minimal website that I'm gonna open now. So we had this simple website that we used to show how to use the component, and we had this preset animation going on. Say for example we want to use our animation that we just made for this website. So let's go back to our editor. This is what we made, right? So we want to use it. Well, first of all, on our site we have to have our basic style sheet and the JavaScript already included. So when we have all that, we just copy and paste first the CSS code. When you click it, you can copy it and you can paste it directly into style tag, or you can include it into a file. Let me just quickly put it here into style. There it is. And we have to invoke with different settings. This is the jQuery code. We just copy and paste it over our existing code. Let's style it a little bit better. Okay, so it says OSMC custom, duration 1 second. That's because we have the name custom that's being added to OSMC for our class name. And yeah, let's reload. Oops, perhaps we didn't save it. Did we save it? No, we didn't save it. Now we saved it. And there it is. This is the animation we just made. And as you can see, it works well. So that's it for now. If you have any questions or problems, feel free to drop me an email, and good luck. If there is bigger interest for this stuff, I will make more instructional videos. This is for the start, so you can get started with it and make your own animations. Remember to test it for phones, because that's very important. And good luck. Thanks for watching. Bye.